This is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Joker Deluxe Collector Set. This is based off the Joker film, and it features a Joaquin Pheonix Authur Fleck Joker, as well as Franklin Murray. Very, very cool set, but grossly overpriced. And while we're talking about it, let's talk about that price for a second. So these things were a ridiculously overpriced $250. And I could get behind that if it seemed like it was worth it, but it does not. Now, everyone out there is saying McFarlane is price gouging, they're charging so much, blah, blah, blah. That may be true. I mean, obviously he wants all the money he can from us. But I think it's a little more complicated than that. I read somewhere that Warner Brothers had a certain price point for merchandise from this film, and you know what? That actually kind of makes sense to me. Now, I'm not saying this is what's happening, but it's just speculation on my part. No company made figures for this movie. No Mattel, no Mafex, no SH Figure Arts, no Mezco, no nobody. And if the price point was so high, they really couldn't make figures for this movie. And I knew that there was a big controversial nature of the film. It was supposed to be really, really graphic. I remember when I actually went to see the movie with my family, they had notes all over the movie theater saying, if you're taking your family to see Joker, look into it more. It's not your typical superhero movie. It's for adults. It's very intense, etc. There were police, actually, at the premiere when I was there. And all that sort of controversial nature only made the movie do even better. That movie broke $1 billion and cost very little to make. It was a crazy financial success, unlike the second one. So if they did make a certain price point, like, I don't know, $200 for any merchandise from the film, I can kind of see why McFarlane would have to make a box set like this and include all this extra stuff that we didn't really want or ask for, just to make it seem like some kind of value for us collectors and to meet that criteria. It's just an interesting theory. Anyway, let's take a look at the packaging. And a little more to say about that before I go on. So, McFarlane Toy Store, $250. Oh my god, ridiculously overpriced. And I thought to myself, well, I mean, I know I'm going to get it. I'll put on my PayPal credit, whatever. Now, I'm a Platinum member, and you automatically get 10% off everything. So that took off a nice little chunk of money. Of course, don't forget, I am going to get 2 of these things. And after I purchased mine, they sent me an email with a 30% off coupon code. Pretty annoying, as I already paid for it, so I reached out to them, and they told me to place another order, but of course I put on PayPal credit, so it wasn't that simple. Long story short, they ended up refunding me the difference. And it's pretty cool, because if you're a Platinum member, you were potentially offered that 30% off coupon code, and that really made it almost 40% off. Maybe like 38.5% off, something like that. But that's a substantial discount. And some people, the premium members that spend a ton at the McFarlane Toy Store, got a 50% off coupon code. If you have the 50% off coupon code and your 10% off Platinum membership, you're getting this for a pretty fair price at that point. Now, I don't know how much you have to spend to be eligible for the 50% off code, because I got a 30% off code and I order a ton of stuff from the McFarlane Toy Store. So, just some interesting little tidbits of information there. So let's take a look at the packaging, and it's rather large. This won't be easy. So as you can see, it's got the Joaquin Pheonix Joker makeup, a little sort of diamond in the eye, a red face paint, and his green hair. Joker Deluxe Collector Box Set with Murray Franklin. Authenticated limited edition, limited to 4,400 pieces. One side of the package, Joker Limited Edition Deluxe Collectors with Murray Franklin. In the back, here's an image of him in the movie, prepared to go on the show, and the other side is pretty much the same thing. Now, the set can open up, and it has fantastic presentation on the inside. Well, if we could get to open up the right way, that is. Definitely not supposed to be quite like that. That's okay. There's the Velcro. Kind of holding it in the wrong way. Anyway, we have the Joaquin Pheonix Joker, Murray Franklin, some chairs, a desk, and the diorama background. And I'm pleasantly surprised, because originally when I saw this I thought, oh, it's just a cardboard diorama, kind of like the interrogation set. But no, it's quite a bit more substantial. And there are more goodies behind. So with no further ado, let's open it up. And of course, I did get 2 of these Joker sets, one of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. Now before we look at the actual figures in diorama, let's check out the little extras that it came with. And these are 1/1 scale. These are basically props, same size as from the film. And if you're collecting 1/10 scale action figures, Typically, you don't really want 1/1 scale stuff. But I think this is all just sort of to make you feel like you're getting a bare value because they had to charge so much for this. So first of all, we have this little flyer. Pogo's Comedy Club, open mic night, Thursday, 7 p.m. Happy hour every Thursday till 8 p.m. Blank on the back, just a piece of paper. Then we have this little card here. You may recognize this. This is the card that Authur Fleck was handing to people throughout the movie. Forgive my laughter, I have a condition, more on the back, and it just sort of explains his medical condition. Then we have this metal sign here. Don't smile. I see what it says, don't forget to smile. It actually has holes here, so you can nail it onto the wall if you want to. And finally, we have Gotham City Department of Health. Dr. Kane, and this is Authur Fleck's sort of notebook. Contains all kind of crazy writing, different jokes, etc. And it goes on and on and on quite a bit. It's a pretty cool prop, and it does get blank after a few pages. Still, I think it's pretty cool, and it's probably worth checking out and trying to decipher and read. We even get, I believe, a smaller version of this, although I could be wrong about that. So now let's take a look at the figures, as well as the diorama prop. So we have the Joaquin Pheonix Joker, or Authur Fleck, and then Robert De Niro, Murray Franklin. Never in a million years would I expect them to do a Murray Franklin figure. And when they first launched this set, I thought, I am totally going to get 3 of these sets. 1 to keep on open, and then 2 to open, make maybe a larger studio, have an extra suited body, head swaps, etc. But then I found out the price point, and I was like, oh, hell no. I do wish there was an option for people to get this cheaper, a bare bone set with just Joker and Murray. But that's not the world we live in. I don't think McFarlane is even able to offer something cheaper like this. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures. We'll check out their accessories, height and articulation, and then we'll assemble the diorama, and then we'll compare them with some other figures. So let's start off with Joaquin Phoenix's Authur Fleck and the Joker. So here is Authur Fleck, or the Joker, played by Joaquin Phoenix. Although I believe the second film strongly implied that this wasn't actually the Joker, but just somebody that inspired the Joker to become who he is in the comics. So let's take a closer look. The face, God, I hate to say it, I feel like it's disappointing. It doesn't look right. The makeup is all messed up, and that's fine because he put it on himself, so sometimes it didn't quite look right, but it just, I don't really see Joaquin Phoenix in that very much. Sure, it looks like this version of the Joker, the green hair, the blue diamonds on the eyes, the red lipstick. I don't know, it's disappointing, and that sucks to say considering the price point. As we go further down, he's got his red jacket, orange vest, green shirt, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, and I don't recognize this suited body. It looks like maybe it's a new sculpt. Legs are weird, almost like flat on one side. I don't know. It's not bad, but I think the face definitely could have been a little better. Although we have 3 faces to choose from, so we'll check them all out before I cast judgment. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Up close looks a little better, but still just something seems quite off. And back on the other side, you can totally see that line where the different faces attach. Maybe it's just not pushed on all the way. We'll check it out in a minute. And then, here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image from the film where the Joker is waiting to go on stage. Authur Fleck, aka the Joker. On the back, we have a certificate of authenticity. This is number 2007 out of 4,400. Now let's check out his hands. He has 6 of them, 3 left hands and 3 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. Then, with his second pair of hands, this is a pair of gripping hands. And his third pair of hands, this is a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers for his gun. Now let's look at his faces, and they're all a little bit different. The first one is smiling. Well, they all look like they're smiling, but beyond the big red lips, you can see kind of a sadder face in the next one. And the last one is a little bit bloodied up, the makeup more smeared. Here's a look at the first face. This one is smiling, teeth exposed, probably the most default face of his that comes with. And here's his second face. You can totally see he looks almost sad underneath all the makeup. Mouth is a frown under the smile. And here's his third face. This one looks to be kind of blooded up, beat up, probably from the end of the film. And if you're curious how he looks with no face, here you go. And here are his final two accessories. We have a little pistol or revolver, and we all know what he does with that at the end of the film. It's in a black color, but it has a nice little sort of wash on it. You can see some silver, etc. And we have that same notebook. I believe it's the same one that we had the large version of. You can see a bunch of his crazy notes in there. Spiral notebook. Here's the Joker holding the pistol, pointing it right at you. And here he is holding and reading from that notebook. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 7 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, it can rotate side to side. He can look up, not too much, as the hair is going to obstruct that, down about that far. He can tilt his head at least a little bit from side to side. Kind of limited there, mostly because of the hair. Shoulders, ball joint goes out 90 degrees, up, down, around. He's got a bicep cut below that, double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it is hinged as well. Torso, pretty much one solid piece. I mean, I can feel it's got soft goods overlay, and I think there's a little bit of articulation under there, but none of that's ever going to stick. Ball joint his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Legs, complete to splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is non-existent. Legs go forward about that much, pretty good. Back not very much. Double jointed knees. And his ankle. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt, rock. And toe articulation. Now let's check out Murray Franklin, played by Robert De Niro, and I think this might be the first Robert De Niro action figure ever made, at least that I can think of. I can't think of any films they've made a figure of him from. He was a talk show host, and I don't think he was a bad guy, but he did kind of embarrass Joaquin Pheonix or Authur Fleck in front of national audiences. So let's take a closer look. This guy is done on the Lucius Fox Two-Face body. The majority of it is reuse, and I'm okay with that. I really like the plaid jacket, screams, sort of like 70s, double jointed elbows. Now the face sculpt actually looks pretty damn good. I can totally see Robert De Niro in this. I think they did a better job in this guy's face than the other guys. He's got the tie. I can totally recognize the body, the sort of cut in the joint here, the diaper, the legs, the awkward sort of feet as far as they're hard to articulate or they don't move very good. I really, really like the pattern on that suit, though. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, and fantastic civilian and suited body type figure. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt, which I think looks excellent. Murray Franklin. Now let's check out his accessories. So first of all, we have this microphone that's going to sit on his desk once you assemble the diorama. Looks pretty good. And then we have this sort of coffee mug, which I think looks ridiculously oversized. Live with Franklin Murray. Here's a look at Murray holding that coffee mug. As you can see, it is way too big for these figures. And for his height and articulation. From bottom to the top, standing right at 7 inches tall, just like the Joker, 18 centimeters. And his articulation, starting with his head. Can rotate side to side, kind of tight. Can look up, not at all. Down a little bit. Once again, the hair is sort of the problem there. Can tilt his head at least a little bit more than Authur Fleck from side to side. Shoulders and a ball joint goes out 90 degrees. Up, down, around. Double jointed elbows. They go all the way in. His wrist can rotate and it's hinged as well. He does have a cut in his torso here. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty nice range of motion. Legs complete as splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is non-existent. They go forward, about that much. Back not at all. Double jointed knees. And his ankle, forward and back. A rotation, although it's very not wanting to do it, which I had the same problem with Lucius Fox and Two-Face. And they can tilt rock at least a little bit. And then toe articulation. Like I said, he uses the Lucius Fox and Two-Face suited body, which they've now used a total of 6 times. Let's put together the diorama, which I imagine is simple to put together. We have 2 back wall pieces. Not sure if that's a floor or a wall. I think it's the floor. Murray's desk. A chair for Murray and Authur Fleck. And then a houseplant. Let's put together and put these figures in the diorama. Here's a look at the diorama. Beginning to get assembled. We have the 2 back wall pieces and the floor. Now let's add in some more props. Here's a couple of chairs added, and the houseplant. And then we add Murray's desk, microphone, and coffee mug, and bam, your diorama is add in Authur Fleck and Murray Franklin, and your diorama is complete. I do wish it was a little bit wider for widescreen photography, but I'm still really pleased with it. Much more than I initially expected it to be. I originally thought the entire diorama would be cardboard, including the backdrop, and it's not. Most of it's plastic except for the floor. Still, this thing is grossly overpriced, and I kind of sort of understand why. At least I've led myself to believe that. I don't know. 2 figures, say $25 each. The diorama, maybe another $50. All the extra stuff, maybe another $50. $150. I wouldn't really bat an eye too much. But $250, yuck. So it starts off with the 2 of them having a nice conversation on national TV. And as the Joker gets increasingly upset, he pulls out his pistol, aims it right at Murray. The Joker fires at Murray Franklin. You get what you fucking deserve, Murray. Right on national TV in front of Gotham City. Now let's check them out. Next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Joaquin Pheonix Joker figures. Here they are, next to the Felix Toys Joaquin Pheonix Joker figure. This is a third-party, unauthorized, unlicensed Joaquin Pheonix Joker. Like I said before, there are no officially licensed Joker Authur Fleck figures in the 6 or 7-inch scale by any company at any price point until now. And here they are with some Patriot Studios Joaquin Pheonix, Authur Fleck, and Joker figures. Once again, these are third-party, unauthorized figures. Then, next to my custom version of the Joaquin Pheonix Joker, I took a Mattel Signature Collection Heath Ledger Dark Knight Joker, did some very slight modifications and repainting, and bam, here we go. I made this before any of those third-party companies came out, and I think he looks better than those, honestly. And scale-wise, he's a little closer to what I want. Here are all of my Joaquin Pheonix Joker figures, from largest to smallest. Here are the 2 live-action Joker figures that McFarlane has done in their DC Multiverse line. We have Joaquin Pheonix Joker and Heath Ledger Joker. Now, we really need a Jack Nicholson Joker, although I know that's very difficult for companies to do. He costs quite a bit, so that may never actually happen. I wouldn't mind getting a Jared Leto Joker, and I think that's actually a possibility in the future. Then we also have the Barry Keoghan's Joker from The Batman, although he hasn't really done much yet, but I would love to get a figure of that in his prison outfit. And of course, we need a 7-inch version of the Cesar Romero Joker from the Batman Classic TV series. I would love to have all those Joker figures from the movies lined up on a shelf. That would be cool. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how they fit in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix them with. Since they're McFarlane toys, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Joker figures as I can during these comparisons. Here they are, next to several different McFarlane DC Multiverse Joker figures, and now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. Here they are, next to a headlight ballast for my son's car. And here they are, with some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel Joker figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a very cool Joaquin Pheonix, Joker, and Franklin Murray set. Now, the Joker figure, honestly, at first, I was sort of saying how the face didn't look very good, but up close, it looks quite a bit better than from afar. I have some issues with the legs. It's weird. They feel like they're flat on the side. It's a weird feel to it. The articulation in the knees looks kind of bad when you use them. But for the most part, I think they hit the mark on that Authur Fleck figure. And Franklin Murray, I think, is even better. Yeah, that two-faced body has some issues, mainly the ankles. Just they never work right on any of the figures for some reason. If you try to rotate them, sometimes you just pop them out of the socket. But he looks great. The face, the jacket, the sort of plaid texturing, on point. And then we have the diorama. I do wish it was a little bit wider, because if I'm trying to take widescreen photography, 16:9, it's a little bit cumbersome to get everything in there and fit it properly without showing what's behind it. But it's a very nice set, unprecedented type of release. I hope to see more stuff like this, but for a much better price. I think they could have easily released this for about half the price that it was going for. But I do think there is more to it than meets the eye. It's not just McFarlane trying to make a whole bunch of money. I do think there's some truth to the sort of price point minimum for figures based off this film. That sort of explains why no one ever made figures for them. Even some of the more exclusive stuff like Mezco, which costs over $100, and you can get them for their website only, etc., etc. I don't know for sure, but once I read that little comment, everything seemed to click and sort of make sense at that point. But even if that is the case, the value isn't really here. For hardcore collectors such as myself, you're going to want this set. For casual collectors, probably not. It would be awesome if they made like a platinum single version of Joaquin Pheonix Joker and Franklin Murray, but I just don't think that's going to happen for a lot of reasons. Number one, I don't think they're allowed to. Number two, I think they really want people to buy this set. If you're going to wait for it to be on clearance, I doubt it will do that. Maybe some of the other retailers. McFarlane seems to want to really hold their ground on these expensive items like the Batwing. They never drop the price on that thing, and it never sold out. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to sell out. I don't think it's going to sell very well, and it's going to really decrease the odds of getting future diorama sets like this. And honestly, diorama sets like this are really in demand by customers like me and you, but not at this price point. If I were to rate these figures, probably give them both an 8. They're really nice releases. At first, I didn't like the way the Joker's face looked, but honestly, the more I look at it, the more I like it. And Murray, I just really like that figure a lot. I'm a sucker for suited guys, civilians, and he is right up my alley. I'm also a sucker for Batman and Joker figures, and he is also right up my alley. I'm also a sucker for dioramas, so it's all up my alley, except for the price point. Of course, I did get damn near 40% off, which made a pretty big difference, especially when buying 2 of these sets, but it was still more than it should have been. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to save the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.